We are now on day 14 of Trump's government shutdown. Somewhere around 1.4 million federal workers have been furloughed. They are not getting paid while Trump buys time to eat the rest of those Epstein files. Even though the IRS is mostly closed, the tax deadline for tomorrow is still in effect. Tomorrow is the tax deadline. Doesn't it feel like the government isn't providing services? You shouldn't have to send the money to them? I mean, you don't pay at Arby's if they run out of the meats.
I mean, nobody has great things to say about politicians. They never have. Go back to Mark Twain. But ideally, we're supposed to elect the best of us, not the worst of us. He's everything that's wrong with not just America, but with being a human being.
Donald Trump's presidency has turned into a reality show so wild that even reality TV wants no credit. Jimmy Kimmel barely needs writers anymore. The headlines deliver the punchlines. Jeff Daniels, once the calm voice of reason on screen, now watches America unfold like an endless improv sketch where chaos is the script. Together, Kimmel's humor and Daniels' disbelief don't just mock a man. They expose a nation caught in the theater of power gone wrong. It's absurd, unsettling, and somehow still darkly funny to watch.
Shut down for 25 days, shut down by Speaker Mike Johnson because there was a special election in Arizona won by a Democrat, Adelita Grijalva. Johnson is refusing to swear her in because if he does, they would be forced to vote on whether to release the Epstein files, and no one wants to be on record, and Trump, for whatever reason, does not want us to see those files. So,
oh, we're seeing one in particular, yeah. And you know, to be fair, Trump isn't the only one who may have overextended himself and isn't worth nearly as much as he says. Those guys exist. Tom Wolfe based this in the late 90s, I'm told, on 3 different guys in Atlanta.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more. Kimmel kicks things off by noting that America's leader often mistakes the Oval Office for open mic night. Jeff Daniels joins in, delivering his lines like he's reading from a tragic script titled Based on True Delusions. The White House now feels like a late-night stage where chaos writes the jokes and disbelief provides the applause. Every press briefing plays out like a stand-up routine only. This one forgot to include the part where the audience is supposed to laugh.
But our president, Metamucil World Peace, is having a pretty good week, or he was anyway. Yesterday, Trump had what was easily the most presidential day of his life. He was front and center on the world stage signing a ceasefire in the Middle East, and then he got home, he started going through the internet, and he just couldn't help himself. Trump made the cover of Time magazine, which he usually loves. You know, before he was president, he had fake Time magazine covers hanging on the walls of his golf club.
Leadership style could best be described as jazz. If jazz were played by someone who doesn't know the instruments, the notes, or why the band showed up, his decisions riff wildly off rhythm and reason, improvising their way into history books that future historians will read with therapy bills in hand. Kimmel mines comedy gold from the contradictions alone, while Daniels finds tragedy in the absurd performance. Together, they strike a perfect balance, one laughing through the madness, the other sighing like a heartbroken drama teacher, watching his once promising student fail kindergarten for the second time.
Wondering why our representatives in the House are not at work, Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona did a pretty good job of explaining it.
Speaker Johnson is protecting pedophiles. That's what this is all about. Speaker Johnson is trying to cover up for pedophiles. Is that clear enough? Speaker Johnson is covering up for pedophiles. Speaker Johnson is covering up for pedophiles. Did you guys get that? Speaker Johnson is covering up for pedophiles. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Jeff Daniels likens the administration to a play where every actor forgot their lines but keeps shouting anyway. Trump improvises policies like a magician pulling random objects from a hat. Tariffs, tweets, threats, and the occasional self-congratulation. Each act ends the same. Applause from his most loyal fans and bewilderment from everyone else still wondering how they got tickets to this surreal production. It's the only presidency where the blooper reel and the official footage look exactly the same, chaotic, unfiltered, and unintentionally comedic from start to finish.
We've lost decency, we've lost civility, we've lost respect for the rule of law, lost it. We have normalized verbal abuse on the internet. We've normalized bullying, much as the woke generation tried to, change that. It's back. And And out the window goes character, integrity.
Kimmel has mastered the art of turning disaster into entertainment, and Trump's tenure provides enough content to keep him busy for decades. He doesn't need writer meetings, just a newspaper, a cup of coffee, and a strong stomach. The late-night host has made disbelief an art form, raising eyebrows higher than approval ratings. Each segment feels like an intervention wrapped in comedy, where the laughter isn't aimed at the audience but at the man, who still mistakes applause for achievement and chaos for a standing.
And I guess conjured up some mixed feelings because of the photo being used. It's upset him so much that at 1:36 a.m. he posted, Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one.
Daniels doesn't chase the laugh, he aims for the existential sigh. He regards Trump's brand of leadership like a crumbling stage set, fascinated, horrified, and vaguely impressed that it hasn't collapsed yet. To him, Trump embodies the downfall of sincerity itself. When the lines between acting and governing blur this badly, it stops being politics and becomes self-parody with executive privilege. Daniels' disgust isn't loud, it's precise, slicing through the grandstanding like a scalpel through the flimsy fabric of a poorly tailored suit. Under his gaze, governing turns into performance, art. Every blunder becomes choreography. Every scandal, another episode in an ongoing satire called leadership. The spoof. When Daniels speaks of integrity, it feels like he's invoking a forgotten language. Truth, in Trump's world, isn't a principle, it's a pose, flexible enough to twist into whatever shape flatters the moment, bending so frequently it could qualify as Olympic level yoga.
Reagan as the campaign season is because I was emailing with you. How much is Reagan our distant past now that Trump is the standard bearer of the Republican Party?
Distant with a capital D? Yeah, I don't think we should be surprised. Maybe there are some Republicans who are becoming surprised about what's going on, how far he's going. But I've told you, I still go back to that 90-minute meeting that Trump had with Putin behind closed doors in Helsinki. Kicked the American translator out. It's just Putin, Trump, and the Russian translator. What happened? What were we talking about? Curious, because he came out of that room looking like a child that had been...
Kimmel, never one to miss a metaphor, calls it political stretching without warm-ups, and the strain is obvious. The administration's priorities are as flexible as their excuses, bending toward convenience and away from accountability. Every contradiction is spun as confidence, every blunder repackaged as brilliance, every scandal rebranded as success. It's marketing over meaning, and Trump remains his own most loyal customer. Jeff Daniels counters with quiet gravitas, the kind that turns silence into judgment. He doesn't need to raise his voice. A single lifted eyebrow says more than an entire press briefing ever could. Kimmel, meanwhile, wears humor like armor, deflecting absurdity with surgical precision. Trump's America has become a rerun masquerading as a premiere, with rallies that feel like encore performances for an audience unaware the show's been canceled everywhere else. Kimmel thrives on the repetition, mocking how every speech remixes the same tune: victory, victimhood, vengeance. Daniels just listens, like a man trapped in bad theater. The lead miss every cue, yet still demanding a standing ovation. Net.
Game of who am I mad at today? Is it the Cracker Barrel logo? Is it windmills? Is it Bad Bunny? Is it the Nobel Prize? Or is it the turkey vagina slapping around over my chin? I'm not sure we're even allowed to show his neck on TV. Wouldn't it be funny if the FCC fined us for showing his neck?
And Daniels invented the mockery. They've simply perfected its delivery. Kimmel sharpens his satire with a grin. Daniels tempers his with quiet despair. There's no need to exaggerate Trump's behavior, it already parodies itself. Every promise feels rehearsed, every denial improvised, every victory declaration suspiciously timed for distraction. Daniels notes that the administration has turned politics into a series of costume changes, each scandal met with deflection, each failure repackaged with new slogans. The performance never stops. World leaders have adapted like seasoned audience members, smiling politely, clapping cautiously, and avoiding eye contact whenever Trump goes off script. Daniels observes that diplomacy has been reduced to damage control, while Kimmel jokes that America's foreign policy now runs on vibes and hash. What was once a seat of global respect has become a reality show crossover that no one asked for, and certainly no one wants renewed for another season. The spectacle continues, louder, longer, and ever more surreal. Net.
has been doing his part to bring the two sides together by calling one of the sides the party of hate, evil, and Satan. Hate, evil, and Satan. And that's why they call him the peace president. Teddy Roosevelt had a press conference / pity party today. He bitched and moaned and patted himself on the back so many times he almost dislocated his shoulder. He played all the hits. He bragged about winning the elections in Georgia in 2016 and 2024. He again claimed the election was stolen from him in Georgia in 2020. The blaming and the bragging, he cannot.
Trump thrives in chaos. It's his natural habitat. He's turned outrage into oxygen, building a brand on the spectacle of constant upheaval. Kimmel mocks the obsession with headlines, noting how every controversy conveniently arrives just before the next distraction. It's not governing, he quips. It's stage management. Daniels, meanwhile, sees it as an addiction to attention so powerful that silence feels like defeat. Without a camera, there's panic. Without applause, there's crisis. Criticism becomes performance fuel. Every attack an opportunity to play the victim. The presidency, once about leadership, now revolves around staying lit under the spotlight. Kimmel compares Trump's speeches to late-night reruns, big on bravado, short on clarity. There's rhythm and repetition, but meaning never shows up. His words scatter like confetti after a parade, bright, messy, and ultimately empty. The absurdity peaks when Trump lists his accomplishments with the zeal of a game show. Contestant unaware the prizes are imaginary. Kimmel transforms those moments into sharp monologues of disbelief, while Daniels treats them as pure, dramatic irony. Nation applauding achievements that never happened or spectacularly backfired. The jokes practically write themselves because reality keeps delivering punchlines no satire could ever invent. Net
has some kind of a YouTube show, and he took her for a ride during a round of golf, and even there he couldn't stop tooting his own horn.
How has it been in the White House so far?
It's been great. Having a good time. We're doing a great job. We stopped 7 wars.
Yeah.
7. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Your taxes are coming down. See, everyone's happy, honey.
That's awesome.
Awesome, Grandpa. You're awesome. Imagine that's your grandpa.
Reflecting on decades of storytelling, admits no writer could have invented a character like Trump and been believed. Too unrealistic, they'd say, too exaggerated, too loud. Yet here he is, scripting his own legacy one scandal at a time, mistaking chaos for charisma and confusion for courage. Kimmel laughs with that familiar mix of amusement and exhaustion that defines modern political humor. He and Daniels aren't mocking from afar, they're chronicling the spectacle as it unfolds. Their dynamic captures America's emotional divide, half still laughing, half simply too tired to. Trump remains the only president to treat governance like marketing, and somehow, the product always finds a buyer. But beneath the noise lies something darker than normalization of nonsense. Daniels points out how absurdity has been promoted to policy, how confusion has quietly replaced clarity. The once sacred idea of truth has been repackaged as perspective, and facts now shift with mood, leaving sincerity as the one thing completely out of style.
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. It was somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Change, never one to miss irony, quips that America has entered a post-reality reality show, where every lie has its fan club, and every correction sparks conspiracy theories. It's funny until it isn't, and that's the point. Jeff Daniels, familiar with stories that arc tragically, finds this one feels improvised to the very edge of collapse. Every new chapter rewrites the rules, and every justification amplifies the absurdity. He likens Trump's presidency to a drama that refuses to end, each season more chaotic than the last. Kimmel, meanwhile, thrives on the endless material. Though he admits the jokes, longevity comes at the country's expense. Laughter masks exhaustion, satire conceals concern, yet America keeps watching. Trump knows how to command attention, even at the cost of coherence. Crisis is his brand, survival his slogan, mayhem his method. Daniels, who once played a fictional news anchor declaring America was no longer the greatest country in the world, watches Trump and sees it less as fiction and more as uncanny foresight. The line between performance and reality blurs, leaving comedy, tragedy, and national spectacle intertwined in ways unprecedented, unpredictable, and unforgettable.
He says he would carry out a deportation operation to remove more than 11 million people from the country. He says he would use the military to build migrant detention camps. He would let red states monitor women's pregnancies and prosecute those who violate abortion bans. He would, at his personal discretion, withhold funds appropriated by Congress. He would fire any U.S. attorney who wouldn't carry out his order to prosecute. He's weighing pardons for everyone who attacked the Capitol.
Kimmel, part amused, part bewildered, turns the absurd into comedy. When the circus refuses to leave town, what choice is there but laughter? They don't need to destroy Trump. He's already crafted a caricature of himself. The mirror alone is enough, and the reflection carries the punchline. Kimmel closes the bit with that familiar smirk. Funny, yes, but the truth behind it is anything but. In that uneasy overlap of humor and exhaustion, he and Daniels find balance. One cracking jokes to survive, the other reflecting to endure. The curtain hasn't fallen, yet the audience shifts impatiently. The spectacle dominates the stage, and the world can't look away. Every quip, every sigh, is a negotiation between absurdity and reality. Comedy becomes a lifeline, reflection a shield, and in the spotlight's glare, both find a way to navigate a chaos that seems endless, yet undeniably familiar.